thanks to librarians. I have a long, wonderful history with libraries and librarians. But from a purely selfish point of view, I want to say thanks. When the firm was published in 1991, almost 20 years ago, we were very excited. The book was getting its share of hype and it looked good. We were nervous. It was supposed to be a big book. I was ambitious. I was wondering if it would actually sell after selling in 25 different languages around the world. When the book came out in March of '91, it slowly, gradually, and quickly became a word-of-mouth bestseller. And most of the encouragement came from two groups: independent booksellers and librarians. You read the book, bought the book, you recommended the book to your friends, you kept it on the shelves, you bought more. I've had so many people in the last 18, 19 years now tell me that their librarian recommended the firm to them. So you played a big role in the success of that book. Around my house, we still measure time, BF and AF. Before the firm and after the firm. So thank you. My love of libraries goes way back. When I was a kid, I grew up in various small towns in Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana. We moved almost every year. My father was a construction worker. He worked for the same company. They would move us as soon as school was out to another town where the work was. So we moved all the time. It was a wonderful childhood. You know, you had to be tough, you had to be quick, you had to learn how to make friends. And I think it really shaped my personality. When we went to a new town, there were three things we did immediately. First of all, we joined the local Baptist church. That was the first Sunday. And then the next thing we did, went to the local library. The third thing, we get on our bikes and go ride around and try to find a local Little League baseball field. And we could measure the quality of life in any town by looking at the baseball field and the library. At every stop, and there were a lot of them, we were always really curious about one big issue, one crucial issue at the library. How many books can you check out in 1 week? What's the limit? In one town, the limit was 2. And we were stunned by that. What a backwater town. It's obviously so unsophisticated. There were 4 of us. One town, the limit was 6. That's 24 books. We took 24 books home. My mother did not believe in television. Truthfully, a lot of times we didn't have television. But she loved books. She loved reading. And we'd sit on the floor of our little home, the 4 of us, would pass the books around. We read, we grew up reading, we all read before we went to school. I grew up with books stacked all over the house. I grew up in libraries. I used to love to go to libraries on Saturday morning for programs and meetings and all the stuff that in a small town there's not much to do. So we love to hang out in the library. I discovered Hardy Boys, the old Chip Hilton sports series. I devoured those books when I was 12 years old, every one of them, 20-some odd books. I couldn't get enough of them. Nancy Drew, of course, was a girl's book. And you wouldn't be caught dead reading Nancy Drew, so you just didn't get caught. we had an old piano. My mom played piano. And my poor dad hauled that piano all over the South and wanted to break his back. But on the pianos, we always stacked the library books. You had to keep your library books on the top of the piano. That's what we always knew where they were. We couldn't lose them. And you'd see Nancy Drew, and you'd look around, and wait till nobody's looking, grab it, go off and hide, and get lost for several hours. Last fall, my daughter, who's 24, started her first year teaching 5th grade at a public school in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she really emphasized reading because that's what she grew up hearing from her parents. And one day last fall, she was at home and she was talking about the reading and what the kids were reading, and she said there's a lot of fantasy. That's okay. Very little suspense, and nothing about the law. And I had this idea. Sometimes the light bulb just comes on and you start thinking about a character. I thought about Theodore Boone. After writing, I guess, 10 or 12 legal thrillers, I did what most writers do. I began wondering if I could write something else. We really don't like to get, pigeonholed into one type of book. We think we can do other things. And so I wrote a childhood memoir. I wrote a comic book about Christmas. I've written 2 books about football over the years. I've tried to do various things. I'm never going to get away from the legal thrillers because those books are still very popular. I'd be foolish to put those aside. And as I was talking to my daughter, I thought, can I write a kid's book? This was probably last October. Most of my stories, most of my books start with a story. And so I thought about, or a character sometimes, I thought about a 13-year-old lawyer, Theodore Boone. Both of his parents are lawyers. He's an only child. His parents practice law together. The law firm is called Boone and Boone. His mother is a successful divorce lawyer. His father is a rather boring real estate lawyer. Theo is not going to be a divorce lawyer. He's not going to be a real estate lawyer. Theo is going to be a famous trial lawyer, or either a judge. He knows every judge in town. He knows every lawyer, every policeman, every court clerk. Theo doesn't really want to go to ball games. He wants to go watch trials. He can do legal research better than most lawyers. He can hack into anything. So Theo is going to be in a lot of trouble for many, many episodes to come. My plans, and I've learned not to make plans with future books, because as soon as I kind of plan the next 3 or 4 books, something will inspire me to write a different story. But I'd love to write the first 3 or 4 Theodore Boone books, get them published, establish a series. I'm not really too keen on this 2 books a year stuff. It's a whole lot of work. Theo has arrived. He made a splash so far, and I hope you get a chance to enjoy Theodore Boone.